The fifth technique of the content health practice is creating evolved loop articles. Earlier, we discussed the complementary processes of the solve loop and the evolve loop. Each loop generates important knowledge by considering KCS articles at different levels. To recap, solve loop articles are created and improved by knowledge developers while they are resolving incidents. Now, at the time the solve loop content is created, it's difficult to judge how important or valuable it may be. But if a problem is worth answering or solving, then it's worth capturing in the knowledge base for others to reuse and to contribute to the patterns or clusters that emerge in the evolve loop analysis. Ideally, solve loop articles are developed just in time based on customer demand. Solve loop articles should follow the content standard so that the articles have a common structure and are findable and usable by the intended audience. In contrast, evolve loop articles are high value articles. These articles are usually created by knowledge domain experts based on patterns and trends in the solve loop content. Evolve loop content is considered to be high value because it's derived from the patterns of use, which is identified by the clustering of KCS articles around a common theme or issue, as well as critical processes and procedures. Evolve loop content generally represents a small percentage of the total volume of KCS articles in the knowledge base. The usage and patterns analysis performed in the evolve loop also identifies product quality and serviceability improvements. By analysing the root causes and the aggregated systems and usage frequency data, the knowledge domain expert can assemble compelling data that can provide business justification to drive product or documentation changes based on the customer experience. Some examples of evolve loop content include procedural KCS articles or step-level processes, which cover how to do a specific thing. Resolution paths, which are a collection of linked procedural KCS articles that define a complex process. These could be procedural or diagnostic and are created by knowledge domain experts to address generic or high-level symptoms, especially ones that address numerous solve loop KCS articles. High-impact issues or major incidents, ones that cause outages or pertain to new or strategic products. KCS articles created to fill gaps in the web-accessible knowledge base. Articles based on web demand rather than support centre demand. Now, in our advanced training course, we will cover how to define knowledge domains by analysing article patterns and clusters, methods for prioritising root cause analysis, and searching for common symptoms and common causes. But there's some noteworthy points in this technique that I'd like to mention here. The first point is that the frequency distribution for the reuse of KCS articles is always in the shape of a power curve. Yes, the 80-20 rule actually applies to KCS article reuse. In many organisations, up to 80% of the KCS articles will rarely or never be reused. Of the remaining 20%, some will be reused much more often than the others. Another point I'd like to mention is that within a knowledge domain, customers most frequently experience failures in a limited number of ways, perhaps only in 5 to 7 high-level generic symptom categories. For example, can't connect to the internet, PC won't boot, and cannot access hard drive. And these generic or common symptoms have diverse causes. Each of the 5 to 7 common failure types has multiple possible causes and therefore different resolutions. Some common causes will show up in diverse and seemingly unrelated ways. A single cause and resolution will be experienced by customers through very different symptoms. Another type of evolve loop content is articles that fill content gaps in our self-service model. Customers' use of self-service introduces some interesting dynamics. Customers will use a good website to solve problems that they would not have called the support centre about. This means that demand for support is greater than the number of incidents that come into the support centre. When customers use the web, there are issues that they will not solve, but they still will not submit an incident. Unsolved customer issues represent gaps in the knowledge base. Articles do not exist, or findability issues. An article exists, but the customer cannot find it. Part of the knowledge domain expert's responsibility is to identify content gaps on the web through web analytics that captures the customer's search strings. If possible, they could create articles that resolve the customer's issues that were pursued on the web but not resolved. They could also refine existing articles based on how the customer was searching for the answer. This improves the article's findability. The evolved loop content processes are critical for continuous learning, innovation and improvement. They leverage the solved loop content, create incremental value for support, and help to integrate the support organisation into the overall product development lifecycle. Look, it's fascinating stuff, and I'd recommend looking further into it by referring to the KCS Practices Guide.